Rose knows.
Unless you sound like old dirty ass motherfucker.
Rowe shit hit different.
Rowe take a long time, man. I hate these artistic dudes.
He's coming.
Yeah, what's Rowe?
Come on, Rowe.
This is Now I'm Kinda Famous Podcast. I'm your host, Lester Rowe. New week, new episode. Actually, I don't know what number episode this is gonna be. But KINDA Famous Pod, POD.com, the official website that for the I'm Kinda Famous Podcast, or you can go to Facebook.com/Kinda Famous Pod. aRowe Films is my personal website. You can go there, see what kind of production thing I got going on. Don't forget, while you're over there or on the Facebook page, to get these clean ass people collectors. We got the bandanas, you know what I'm saying? Hold on, let me throw that up like that. The bandana, got the sweaters, got the hats, got the motherfucking t-shirts, got jogging shorts for the women. If you into that, hey, look over on the Kinda Famous Podcast, man. You can't get the hat, not just yet. 2020, we're gonna make that happen, but not quite yet. Everything else, holla at me, we'll figure out how to get you something. Now, I will say this early for my old loyal listeners. This episode is a little different. It's a little different. I know I got a lot of new listeners this particular episode, so I'm gonna go down some of the particulars of the show just so they know. So just bear with us. Because this week, this is a special episode. That's why I don't know the number, because I don't know what happens before this or after. But we have part 3 of the ICT Roundtable that was hosted or moderated by Rolls Royce from Power, the local radio station. If you don't know anything about Power, it is, you know, Carla, who's been on the show several times, Power 93.5, Greg the Hitman Williams, Rolls Royce, Carla, you know, they run that show over there. So I was asked to be a part of that. And I know it seems like we've been local heavy the last month, basically, because we had Keywan Moses come on, a comedian who's just been traveling the country, getting his comedy going, like for real. Oddly enough, shortly after that episode, some shit happened with Keywan. And I won't talk too much about it because I hope he takes it to the stage, but big prayers to him and his family, man. I know what he went through could have been real devastating, could have went a whole lot worse. We also had Miss V, who just dropped her album, Exposure. Man, between these two episodes, we got a lot of great feedback, a lot of great conversation. The people loved them. So, you know, I'll take it. I'll take love where we can get it. But this one is another somewhat local episode. We did the ICT Roundtable. This is part 3. I host part 3. Part 1 was hosted by Flavor in the Mix podcast. Part 2 was hosted by the Point Proven podcast. Now, a part of this roundtable was really just going into discussion about the local goings on in Wichita. I was invited to be a part of it, and I think it's dope. So if you're new to this and you don't know who I am, I'm a filmmaker, fucking podcaster, I guess. I made From the Ground Up, partner with Carla Ayala. That's when we since canceled the show, but we dropped 2 dope ass episodes. We'll be doing something with everybody. Want to know about the material? I'll be doing something with the material. I won't say quite what it is, but we dropped 2 episodes. One with YBM Smooth, one with Plainview. 2 amazing episodes. People, great feedback, so I dig it. I made that. I got the podcast. Have had people like aRowe on the show. We did Track Record. Who else? YBM Smooth, DJ Fluid. Brandon J. Johnson has been on the show. I mean, you know, I've had several people on it. Honestly, I just have people that I just feel like I can talk to. I want to talk to, I'm interested in, and want to have a great conversation with. So that's what my show is about. And besides, when I'm not doing, you know, local talk or with, you know, people interviewing, man, we just kick the shit on the show, man. Just talk shit. What's going on? What's happening? What I'm feeling. You know, we get into the mental health talk. We talk about shit like the baby pulling his dick out. So that's the type of groundbreaking conversation and discussion you can find on the I'm Kind of Famous podcast. But we'll go ahead and get into part 3. Part 3 of the ICT Roundtable. This is where we get into the MVP. We talk about some of the major moments in Wichita. And I'll say this. If you listen to part 3 and you've already heard part 1 and 2, you got a problem with anything I said, I really don't give a fuck. So that's just how I operate. I have no dog in the fight. There's no real biases, and if there is, I will say so. And it just is what it is. So don't listen to part 3 if you haven't listened to part 1 and 2 yet. A part of this discussion was Rolls Royce, like I said, for Power 93.5. Flemmdoggydog, who is the owner operator of Mars Mansion. As well, he does a lot of hosting gigs. As well, I did video for YBM Smooth's birthday party. He did an amazing intro for YBM Smooth. Gave you a history lesson into who YBM Smooth is. We got Cash Holistah, who does the K-List and a lot of music partnership and ventures throughout Kansas. So look up the K-List playlist on Spotify. J Nichelle of Flavor in the Mix podcast. You can check them out as well. And Rello of the Point Proven podcast. We're all part of this discussion. We have some heated exchanges from time to time, as you may have already heard in part 1. But overall, it was a good, healthy conversation. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and jump into part 3 of the ICT Roundtable. So if you got any comments or commentary or anything you got to say, get up in these comments. Let me know. Do everything. If you enjoy it and you want to know more about me, you can subscribe to my channel, follow my channel, hit the like button, do all that stuff people tell you to do for the I'm Kind of Famous podcast. And man, just get into what we're putting down. All right. And get some of these clean ass people collectors. Until next time, tell your mama I said hi.
All right, hey, now we're in segment 3. This is how it works. Go ahead. If you didn't listen to segment 1 and segment 2, you're a loser. You're a loser. But just in case if you haven't, you want to listen backwards, who are you?
The name's Cash Holistah.
It's your girl, J Nichelle, holding it down, Flavor in the Mix.
Man, it's Rowe. Kind of famous. How about that? KINDA famous pod.pod.com. Go.
Hey, the third segment. Now we come alive. It's the one and only big homie Flemmdoggydog, a.k.a. Flemmin' Pepper, a.k.a. Wildin' Flyverson, all right? I'm still going with that, and I'm honest.
Come alive, Dracula.
So the third segment going to I'm Kind of Famous, and he just came alive. It's crazy how it comes to this, that this is how I got to get invites to I'm Kind of Famous. But what up? It's your boy Rello. That's RELLO, one half of the Point Proven podcast and the owner of Rellism. You heard?
And hey, it's Royce. You can check me out Monday through Friday, 3 to 7, Power 93.5, if you're inclined, or on the radio.com app. So, Rowe, it just like, I almost was like, damn, did that go over here? What was your...
Well, I'm glad this is my segment because one of my highlights is From the Ground Up. If you can watch that on aRoweFilms.com.
Episode 1 or 2?
Episode 1 and 2.
I apologize. I take back everything I said.
No, but seriously, I'm going to ask what everybody wants to know. When are you going to drop, or are you going to drop the rest?
Nah.
Why?
Nah.
Why? What was the point of doing all the work?
So this is probably not going to be productive for this show, but the reason for it is, like, as much as we're here to celebrate the artists and entertainers, we put a lot of effort in trying to help build and showcase a demographic that I thought is very important. I think the urban music culture is something that is slept on quite a bit.
I can't stand the word urban.
Well, you just heard it.
But I'm gonna tell you why they're different because
It's radio Royce.
The reason why
the industry I'm in, like, urban means they just don't say that.
But the reason why I said urban is because we did highlight Hispanics, we did highlight an Asian, we did do black. I mean, the way that I picked was very strategic in who I wanted to showcase and show. We wanted to do women. It's just at that time it wasn't a lot of women doing a lot of work. But the way that you know, much like this, you know, talking about this makes people so upset and jaded and things like that. It felt like for me to invest so much money into this and do all this as what I feel like is a gift to show not just
that's hardcore. Like that's
well, let me finish. Not just
but you should have saw it. He went.
Well, just not for
like he was one of the three wise men.
Well, not just for the urban community.
What was this, frankincense or myrrh?
Well, not just for the urban community, but for these white people who didn't want to book these artists because they felt like, oh, it's too violent, it's because of this, is that. It's like, I want to package this in a way that show that
put them in a
person
light.
like YBM. Well, I mean, I was telling the truth, but I picked artists who are good representation of that, to see the Southwest Entertainment, to be able to put on the shows they put on, to do the car shows and stuff like that, to show YBM as a real businessman, family person, this whole thing, that Plainview ain't just this crazy person that you see on social and some of the other things that we wanted to do by going to some of the college shows and stuff like that, to show this is just people having fun. This is just a slice that you guys need to understand that you have a bad conception, have a misconception of, for only that same group to kind of treat it as if we hating on them or we're not talking to the right people. Just really the backlash for me was like, it's not worth me continuing to put this time in for a group of people who just don't care about it. So I just stopped and put focus on really working with the artists I want to work with instead of showcasing. So it's not that it's over, but it's over in the context that people saw episode 1 and 2. But as well as I just chose not to talk about it as much, because then when things are done the way I want it to be, it's just rolling out. So you may see more of what we did with Savage University interview that we did with YBM. There will be more of things like that versus doing this storytelling. So it'll just kind of come out of nowhere. So that's 2020. All 2020, I mean, I got several different
Now, don't
projects.
give dates, because last time you said November.
What?
Of 2018,
well, because I know I got the places that
you know I'm that cat. Like I'm like November 1st.
Well, I'm not saying dates.
The YBM Smooth one came out this year, right?
January. January was YBM Smooth. I think March was Plainview.
But I thought you had said like the Smooth one was supposed to have dropped at the end of last year.
So a lot of that was strategic because the point of we promoted that basically a whole year straight.
Yeah.
Over and over and over. And the point of that is like, I know as the complaint rollout as what you going by?
Cash.
The rollout as Cash
or
talked
James.
about.
I mean,
we done went through 3 segments.
AKA.
Is that
They introduced ourselves 3 times.
I didn't want to put this much
only on a
work.
group message.
I want to put this much work in, and then it's like, oh, it came and went. So I need to, when this thing came out, I knew all along we was pushing this out to the beginning of this year. But if I went, it's coming out in fall, it drops in fall, and then no one cares in August or September, then that wasn't worth it for me.
But you think it was like of the year worthy? Like
I'm saying, no, hold up, we're not done. He stopped me. So From the Ground Up was one of them. But my real highlight of the year, I got to self-promote myself.
Okay, so what's your highlight of the year?
I got to promote myself. Okay. I did something this year. Is the Blueface YBM, the Blueface show, aka YBM show. The reason why that was big, I think the criticism that I had for XV was carried out that night, where you had these audience, these artists that are the people of the town. They work together. You got to see them all on this stage under the right light. You seen them basically take the show from Blueface. You seen Plainview have this amazing moment that.
But you know what was great about that though? That's a fact. And this is not to just Blueface. The local artists had Blueface is cool, but Blueface really isn't that good. No. The local artists were better than the main artists. Yeah.
Because I honestly think they reckon well.
And it was also one of the first times I think a lot of them believed in like. Not their stardom, but when you have people like, hey, I want to take a picture, like you could tell it's like the wheels started turning. They're like, okay, people are listening. I'm touching more people than just my Facebook people. When you have little white kids coming up saying, hey, can I take a picture of you? That's when it's like, click. It's on.
Maybe jumped in that crowd and made a whole bunch.
It's on. And I saw it with YBM too. I mean, it was a great night to just sit and watch Plainview and YBM.
And that was my only criticism, was that XV could have had that moment attributed to him when he came back. And people felt however they felt about that commentary, but
how?
Because if he's gonna,
but he did.
But remember that, and that was opening for a show too.
Who?
XV did it. He had that moment.
No. I'm not
He had
saying
Love Family show up and perform. He had Endless perform, and Endless after that album release, Endless took off.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying that. I'm saying you take these artists who have been gritting it, as the local colloquialism is.
Good word, by the way.
That you have that happen.
That's
you have
6
these
syllables,
artists that's been doing this. And I guess this is where my bias comes in. Being around those artists, doing from the ground up and seeing what they really feel and knowing what they really feel, and then that moment that Blueface, I mean, that's now attributed to Blueface. You get YBM at the right moment, at the moment where he feels like, yeah, I got this. This is mine. And then you have him having to do that after following up Plainview, who just had an amazing moment. So it's like you got the city, the same electricity that people feel behind Pearl 2. You got that night, and it wasn't even their show. But when I say the XV party, then that just would have been all of Wichita right there. You had the Love family there. You had, everything that was going there except some of the top artists that I felt like should have been contributing to.
He was there.
You know what I'm saying? Big Sam was there. Skinny Jim Yaddick was there.
I was there.
At XV. I mean, yeah, like just to me, all of that, I felt like, man, that what Wichita and what they talk about the music scene, what I wanted to do with From the Ground Up could have happened that night. And I think that would have been probably the biggest moment that everyone in Wichita would have remembered forever. Mm-hmm. Now it's just XV had a great night, and that's the end of it. And that's just my opinion, but that's why I feel like the greatest moment of 2019.
Flemmy, biggest highlight.
All right, what's cracking?
Janae, you look done.
I got 3.
I ain't done.
No.
No.
She's like, okay.
I got 3. Number 3 is the Blackout ICT Awards. Just piggybacking off what Janae said, it was just a beautiful moment to see everybody come out, get recognized for what they doing. That was dope. Number 2, for me personally, the biggest highlight of the year is After Dark. But because of everything that was involved with it, so I got to get my shout outs in for After Dark. So shout out to Vorshades as a venue. Shout out to Aaron. Shout out to the big homies. That's Raymond, Josh, and DJ Berthet. Shout out to Enjoy.
And by the way, I'm not going to throw anybody on the bus, but shouts out to Vorshades for rolling with you.
Facts.
When other people try to get in there.
They did.
And you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because a lot of other venues wouldn't have done that.
Yeah,
there would have been
and
After
the way that
Dark,
they let me take
Monday,
control.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
And they believed in, and they believed in the vision for me to do it once a month. But to Jordan Lattimore, Scott, Zephaniah, Big Sam, YBM Smooth, I already said Enjoy, Jazz Our Couch, Paris Jane, and I'm trying to think of who else I'll perform this year because I just gotta show that love to everybody.
YBM Smooth performed.
I said YBM Smooth.
Big Sam?
Yeah, Sam, Smooth, Jordan Lattimore, all the big homies, Enjoy,
Blake.
Zephaniah, and Blake.
Taquita
Taquita went crazy. He was last. He was last, but that was because I'm trying to go from After Dark 1 to After Dark 4.
Yeah.
Taquita, I said Paris, and I think that's everybody who's performed so far at it After Dark.
And you got people in there grabbing the mic.
Y'all on the first one?
Just feeling it.
Shout out to
the open mic session.
Rochelle Love. She got to do on the last one. Did her thing.
Talia Gray.
But Talia Gray. And man, dang, you got me. Yeah, I got it. But everybody who performed and that's just been a partner who came out to After Dark, that's definitely the highlight for me. That something that a vision of mine that it came true. But the one that's biggest for the city, honorable mention, is that Blueface concert. But again, like I said, the biggest moment I think for the city is Bray renting out that movie theater. Because again, an original piece of work that you wrote, produced, directed, all of that, and got it showing on the screen and got people to show up. That's amazing. Even if, like what I do with After Dark is dope, but if I do covers of people's songs or something, he did something original and got his props in his town, that's hard. You can't top that in my eyes.
Rello, highlight.
I feel like at this point we're about to start being repetitive because I gotta go with the same 3. I have to go with After Dark 1 through 4. Flem 1, he solidified his legacy in the city to me with this After Dark, and also just all the artists that have come together and the creative minds that it took to create that. You actually saw people, you know what I'm saying, in that old school chair that y'all got like taking photos. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that, yeah, like that was a big thing for people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there was that stop that you had to make, like if you show up to After Dark. I also have to give recognition to the Brave family with Pearl too, because I was there for the first showing that night, and it was just beautiful to see all those black people out there, you know what I'm saying, from my community just supporting this man and also Micah for what they did. And then I also have to say that the highlight of this year was the ICT Awards, the Blackout Awards. Yeah, it brought, you know what I'm saying, it brought some people, you know, feeling some type of way about it or whatever. But
the people who didn't win an award.
Yeah, but what event is
it's
not?
like the people who go to the Grammys. I mean, hell, Jay-Z said something about the Grammys the year he didn't win.
What event's not going to do that? You know what I'm saying? Like,
but the real test is if they don't, then that's a problem. You want them to be mad if they don't win.
Yeah, but very similar to the Pearl 2 premiere, the award show, you rented out the theater and it was packed, and you also had all these people from our community dressed up for this special occasion. Like you had people out here like dressed to impress, like wearing their best. And exactly, and in our community, our city, like we look for events like that. You know what I'm saying? Like people out here, like they want to get dressed up for a reason. That's why people love After Dark too.
The leather, the
you know what I'm saying? Because
everything.
like they're able to like dress. You know what I'm saying? To be that, it was on and popping, like beautiful things. So those are my events that I feel like represented the city very well, and very proud of those.
I have to say my favorite moment was it's actually a week, and it's kind of a cop-out. The week between September 24th, Wednesday, to Wednesday, September 31st. A lot of people don't realize I had to do a quick edit on this. It was actually July, not September. Messed up. July 24th through July 31st. The Cardi B show and the Wu-Tang show were 7 days apart.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I realized that.
And when you have two hip-hop shows that aim at two different audiences, that one can pull out 4,000 people and one can pull out damn near 10,000 people, that's the kind of stuff that shows, okay, things are happening, people are wanting to spend money, because a lot of people
get that pre-sale. Pre-sale's important.
Yeah. I mean, but you know what's crazy is Cardi didn't really do pre-sale a lot.
No, Cardi, her tickets sold when the show was it was showtime.
Yeah,
like toward right then.
Gotta drop it at tax time.
Yeah.
Cardi was smart. Everybody had their tax money. They bought their tickets.
Because people forget though, because Cardi, when she said she was going on tour, January, February, and it went until July, and then Wu-Tang was after, and a lot of people were like, man, I don't know, but that's one of those times that shows that there's enough people, kind of like how we were talking with the shows, that there's enough communities and different hip hop communities in the city that will come out.
Right.
It has to be major, but
in
it
order
can
for it to
happen.
work, yeah.
But it can happen. That was a beautiful week.
It'd be nice to see more of that, but I mean that's a money thing, so I get that. So
More what?
that's a power thing. Well, more shows, more.
2020, it's on. 2020
You mean
is
shows
on.
with like major act shows?
I can't comment.
You got Wale
Major-
in January. You got
don't be
you got
selling.
you got
We've had major
Rhapsody
people
and
come
Lawrence in February.
Right.
You also got Young Dolph in February.
Well, no, and one of the biggest problems is, long story short, when you have, can I get technical here?
Let's talk.
When you have a company like Live Nation who buys the big tours and books all the dates, and if Janae, if you're an artist, hey, you want to go on a 50-city tour? Yeah. Here's $20 million. I'm going to go ahead and pay you. You can keep some of the sales. You can keep all the merch. But then I pick the venue. Well, it's in their vested interest to go. So when you have a market like Interest Bank Arena, who doesn't have a lot of stats behind themselves when it comes to a hip hop show. If you have $1 million, well, and they were called urban. Would you spend $1 million on an urban show that you could lose? That's the gamble.
I get it. I mean,
that's all. But when you have something like Cardi, it shows that you can have a big.
You have something like Ross.
That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen.
I went Hulkamania.
But also if you look at Blueface, it was a great show, and there were 750 people there. Yeah. Crickets. Echo.
You know what killed the Blueface for me?
And he had the number one single.
The all ages. I didn't want to do the kids.
Yeah. I mean,
he's
and something I always go back to is it was 2 years ago, maybe 3, the Big Chris show, when there was as many people in this room as, I mean, they lost. It was
like 15,
you would be surprised how many people take hits.
Yeah.
Take hits.
And that was one of the openers. I was one of the openers of that show.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, take hits.
Hey, I forgot all about that.
But there were also a lot of wins, too. There were also a lot of wins.
They were selling Wiz Khalifa tickets on Groupon when he came here.
I don't know nothing about that.
They was.
And that crit ticket was cheap. That's crazy. I didn't know.
Yeah.
What, the crit ticket was maybe 15, 20?
25.
Yeah. But I also think it's going to change because you have people like Russ who came.
Sold out.
At Hartman.
Yeah, Hartman.
NF probably will
sell out. He'll sell out. He'll sell out Hartman.
You have Cardi B. But then also what we need, like people forget even too, Ariana Grande was 3 years ago, but she only sold 6,000 tickets. This is Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
Like no company's gonna take that gamble. None. And then also Intros Banking are gonna say, well, you know.
Hey man, Rowe's been holding this in for like 30, 40 seconds. I know he got something he wanted to say.
Man.
When he gets quiet, you know.
I mean, ultimately what it is the politics and the money. When the politics and the money line up, it's game time. And I will give you a hint. There's going to be 3 or 4 times this year where the politics and money will be lining up.
That's awesome.
Let's go ahead and get Slim Interest Bank. Let's do it.
Looking
Let's
forward.
do After Dark Interest Bank.
But that's a great conversation because
to talk to your people.
That's a great conversation because, like I always say, once again, the highlight of my year was kind of one of the sad things too. Is the groups here are finite. If you move to the wave, like, do you think you could get After Dark with 1,500 people?
Do I think I can?
Yeah.
Oh, you done asked him the wrong question. You asked the wrong person the wrong question.
Look,
tell him yes, Slim. Tell him yes.
I think he can do some insource.
The inside, yeah, but I'm talking
D'Angelo himself.
Actually, you know what? Okay. Inside and outside is 2,500.
That's facts. Honestly, I think it's not a matter of could I, it's a matter of what I want to. Because I'm different. I'm not really one of those people who thinks bigger is better.
Yeah.
That's my whole, a lot of people that disagree.
No, that's smart.
Certain things.
That's always smart.
You want to keep them coming.
Things like After Dark, I feel why it works is because it's a smart,
the intimacy.
vibe.
Thank you. Yes.
It's a vibe. Now, if you say, Flem, I want you to do interest, well, then I'm a team with my team. We're going to come up with a whole different something that I feel matches interest.
Now, what I would do is an After Dark with the actual
it
artists.
would be, you wouldn't get,
like it would be next.
The big homies, but you would get D'Angelo with the big homies or something like the actual D'Angelo, not Flemmangelo. Okay, you don't want that anymore.
But that's one of the big problems is the scene is finite. Like you go to Rock Island, 75% of the people who are going to be there this weekend will be there next weekend.
Fact.
Yeah, but
That's a fact.
Nah, talk, bro.
Because the one problem that I see,
and I don't see a line at the door.
It's too many things happening at the same night. So you got.
But
urban.
if we want to play the big dog, if we compare ourselves to the big cities, it can't just be one thing per night.
No, you can't. You don't have to do that. Because you book towards what can show up basically, or what you can forecast a little bit. So I wouldn't go gamble on things that don't make sense to what's happening. So I think like Stun does Rock Island every week. I think twice a week. But then if you got that and you got that on top of After Dark, on top of another thing, and top of a women's event, it's gonna be sparse as hell out there. I think trying to have a strategy around what's happening, I think is gonna help. get more foot traffic. I think that one that you blew, that last one that you blew up, wasn't a lot going on, and they've been hearing good stuff about, man, it's a vibe out there, man. You want to go to the after dark. So much so that now it looks so good because it's intimate. You got everybody with the phone showing, man, it's packed in here. Do I really want to go to Rock Island where I already know it may be 20 people? I'm going to take 3 from, now Rock Island got 17. Them 3 just went there after dark. And I think it's just being smarter about booking. I just think this town isn't that good at being smart about some of these bookings that they decide to go with. But like Wu-Tang, that Wu-Tang audience probably wasn't gonna go to Cardi, so it gave for people who like rap, I can go over here instead. I'm sorry.
Watch the table.
I can go over here instead. Who else was Sweetie and who else was there? Kevin Gates?
Kevin Gates, yeah.
Come on now. Oh, rap.
I mean, you're going to get what you get, but Cardi was going to be big regardless, and that was a QC thing. I mean, the whole thing, but whatever.
So vibing off of what you were saying, though, the last After Dark, Flem, the last After Dark, that same night at Rock Island, DJ Barefoot was there, and it was packed out.
We got
different crowds. The After Dark crowd is completely different.
It kind of grown.
So, but like what?
But then
Royce
also with the
born,
After Dark, you couldn't do that every week.
No,
that's the whole point because it's like that crowd's gonna be like, no,
that monthly,
because that's only that crowd.
That month is what makes it special,
Right.
But kind of what Royce was saying, like you're gonna have multiple events in these like bigger cities, like that's what it's gonna be. So that's why in Wichita, like Flem and Fluid can hold down Heroes on Friday, but then Barefoot and Stun is holding down Rock Island that same night, and guess what? They're packed out. They pack,
but also let's remember this too.
Barefoot is packing out.
Let's remember this too.
And then you got the people that are somewhat kind of older or whatever, and they want to go to Fever. They're filling that up. So it's like it's multiple venues that are being worked right now.
And people aren't going out as much. Not to show my age, but when I was like going out hardcore, like when I was 28, 29, this was 06.
It's kind of y'all fault.
06, 07, 08. I mean, there were, like, I remember going out one night and we hit up 7 places. Wow. All packed, nice. All hip hop.
Nuh-uh.
I'm dead serious. This was 06, 07.
I believe it.
Hold on.
Like I was at Jams. I'm talking Lightning Joe's. This was when Club Patron, that's when it was Krista Nights. No, it was Urban Nights. It was Urban Nights back then.
After my grandpa.
That's when
But how many?
Doc Howard's was flashbacks.
Yeah.
Rodeo was still popping. You had Lightning Joe's on West Kellogg.
If I can say it,
you had the 7007 East Harry.
How different was radio then too?
What is radio?
See, a lot because
it's the music. It's not radio.
Did y'all promote any of those shows? Or not shows or events or nights out like, hey,
no, but they were popping anyway.
Yeah, I mean that's true. That's when I was active.
I mean, just because somebody promotes on the radio, that doesn't always mean it's gonna be pop. Yeah,
rodeo is terrible.
I'm going back.
Yeah, can't wait.
I mean, and then remember, you had flashbacks, and then across the street you had Inferno.
Yeah.
And then it turned into Liquid. I mean, there were 6 or 7 places we went to in one night at the height. Yeah. And then also what you got to remember is there were 6 or 7 DJs back then. You know what I mean? It's different. And the music was different. People were going out to that was the last wave of people going out to dance, not really stand there, not really kind of nobody was rolling. Nobody was tripping. Nobody was on Special K, Special E, Special D, whatever the hell kind of vowel or consonant drug people are taking now. It was like people went out to party. Like that was where, and then also
like it wasn't banging out there.
And also I think one of the biggest things, and I should not say this, is it was still very segmented. Like you went to a black club, you went to a black club.
All right.
So we only had certain places we went, so we had to support it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at.
That's a fact. Ooh, that's a fact. Okay, yeah.
And we knew we couldn't mess it up too much because there wasn't too many places to go. Or because when you put on Kellogg, there was a line of sheriffs waiting for you.
Yep. We got MVP.
All right, MVP. Y'all getting tired? Y'all need to go to the bathroom?
You got some water?
The sink.
Sink.
There's a Culligan filter.
I forgot to honor. I want to put Key One as an honorable mention on my.
Hey, Culligan, man.
What was that?
Of the year?
Yeah, because he been working.
Ewan Moses.
Because a part of the reason I want to talk to him is that I ain't gonna do that. Key One is a very good dude. I mean, he just did the show. But talking to him and just seeing the year he's had, traveling, touring.
He's putting in work.
Putting in real work. And just, I can't even make a statement because I'm just thinking about that, and I don't want to make a comment on that.
Oh my gosh, I don't want to make a comment.
Man, prayers to Key One Moses. Man, he's been through a lot in the last couple of days or whenever this come out. But hope he's in good spirits. You got anything, Royce, for that? Or I mean,
no, okay. So MVP.
That was Royce.
MVP
Royce on the radio.
No, but seriously, I can almost. It's messed up, but you got to. I've had to learn the hard way. You got to watch what you say when you're behind the mic.
You do.
All right, so we going with ICT MVP?
Yes.
Yeah,
ICT MVP. All right,
or do you want to have like a fun quick one? What do you want to see changed, or what was your low
what
point
I want to see change?
I got a list of who to watch next year. But we can
I got
because at this point we're about 216.
See, I also want to say a trend that I don't want to see in 2020.
No cap.
This is what I don't want to see. Well, in addition to that, I don't know who started the thing of doing FB lives of behind the scenes of video shoots, but that has to stop. If I'm an artist, I'm upset with that. I'm upset with that because I want the content.
True life.
Like I want the content.
That is content.
No.
He wants to keep
that's not good content. That's not. I mean, the package content. Like I want to be in charge of the packaging and how the thing comes out. So if I want to do a behind the scenes of a video, if I want to release the video, then do like a behind the scenes. Then I should be able to do that.
More strategic with the artist.
Exactly. So so whoever's doing that. Like, that was cool for Plainview because it was funny.
Unless it gives you enough of a tease where it's like you're showing something like, yo, we're about to do this, and it's about to be crazy. You got to
like a 10-second thing. That's cool.
As long as it's in conjunction with what the artist wants.
Right.
I get it.
Yeah. So that's my trend that I want to see die. But as far as like who to look out for, man, there's a lot of good
apparently hot sauce.
Female Yeah, I was going to say,
a lot of female
MCs. A lot of female MCs, a lot of female rappers are going to be on the rise, I think, here coming soon. I think Miss V is someone you're going to have to probably check out. Drake's KB Poppin'. KB Poppin' makes great ratchet music.
Perfect ratchet.
Great
she
ratchet
got a song
music.
about selling pee, and I don't know what it's called, but it's so hard that I almost pimped for it. It was so hard. For a day. I was like, I can get
KB Poppin'. There's a MC named Ashes. Ashes is dope too. So I think who you're gonna see is that Damian Styles. I mentioned him before, but I think as a young cat that I think is really got something. Yeah, Damian Styles signed.
You guys signed what? Global Hustle?
Yep. So that's somebody who I think you should look out for. And I can't wait for whatever Skinny Chip Yada is going to do as far as like an album. Like I want to see him with like a really great rollout. I want to see him with hey, I see the look, Flem, I see it. But like, yeah, Skinny Chip Yada, whatever he's about to do, I'm
Table
with
for
that.
3?
I'm with that.
Look at me.
You know, I've been thinking about doing some ghostwriting for ladies. So I write and I rap, but I just don't. You know,
spit some bars right now.
Listen, if I can't cuss, I really can't spit right now. I'm not even gonna cap.
I'll bleep it out.
But I do some writing. it's if you're really close to me, friends, you know that. But and everybody always encourages me to do it, but it's really not my scene. But I've been thinking about actually writing for some ladies. There's ladies on the scene, rap ladies that are coming on the scene.
Dudes too, because they need help too.
That's true. That's true.
Just write to write.
Yeah.
That's true. But I really think that there's some dope female artists here, and if they had a little bit of help with their delivery, maybe with their flow, that we could really have a female artist that's really making some of these top lists on the next roundtable.
So I got a huge question for you. You just talked about the female artists.
Yeah.
Do you think there's almost a formulaic way, like if they, Megan Thee Stallion, City Girls, Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, Saweetie.
You know what? I really think I really think it's changed. Like, this is the time for women, because there was a point of time, I feel like, where we were not supporting each other. There could only be one hot female at a time. Yeah. We were not about to be trying to all jump on the track together and do features and stuff like that, unless there was a R&B singer, but there was not two rap artists on there. So I definitely think that I don't know. I think that it's the time for females actually to just like come up and do something together. But I don't think that there's a certain formula, because we have a young MA, you know, and I really don't even know where
Rhapsody too.
You know what I mean? But yeah.
Rico Nasty.
But yeah, and you guys, so you do got those, you know, Trina kind of rappers, people following the Little Kim trend and things like that. But then you also got your hood females that's holding it down, and then also like your Cash Doll and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think that just females are starting to move different and understand that there's room for all of us. We don't got to be going at each other in that way. But I'll say look out for Flavor in the Mix. That's what we're doing, right? Lookouts for next year. Look out for Flavor in the Mix. Shout out my boy Chris Keys. That's going to be my new co-host on Flavor in the Mix. Chris does big things in the city. Definitely got some big things planned. We're coming out with season 3 in January 2019. And we're going to still continue to try to put the city on to bring y'all information about what's going on in the city, who's doing what's going on, when, where you can catch it, and talk about all the dopest topics and conversations. That's it. Shout out Flavor in the Mix.
Well, I don't even know what we're doing, but I'm gonna do.
What are you looking for in 2020?
Well,
what would you like to see?
I'm kind of like Flem. I got a list of people that I'm looking at to do big. First off, Miss V. I just talked to her. I really think she's going to be probably one of, not just the biggest female artists next year, but one of the biggest artists in town next year. Just seeing what she's doing and what's behind her. Miss V is going to be pretty heavy next year. But aRowe, we need one from you, baby. 80, we need one.
aRowe just performed last night and it was hard.
A.D. Coley got a banger. I think he gonna have another one.
Which nobody mentioned his album.
Well, he didn't.
The Cartel music.
No,
it's a 2019 on Apple. When I looked on it,
A.D. Coley.
Yeah.
To be at the top of the year.
I feel like that would
I
have
didn't think
A.D. Coley's been locked up there all year.
There we go. I think that ruined his rollout too.
Yeah.
And Stun the Future with Southwest. Hey man, you need to start putting some music out. All this hosting and doing this, you gotta put some music out. Yeah. See, you hear that? Probably didn't, but if you did, he said they ain't know you rap.
No, because he, like I said, he
be hosting. Yeah. Boom. So I want to see something. I think he's gonna do something. One person who I think is very entertaining that I've just kind of grown liking to, that I kind of didn't like the music. PJ the Great. Very animated. He can rap. But he's adding some of that dance. It's just something a little different than just saying I'm gonna be some street dude doing mob music or doing what the Plainviews do. So I want to see what PJ the Great does. Other than that, David Dixon. I think he's the voice of the city, honestly. I think he's the person who knows where everyone's doing. And paying attention to everything. He's a great promoter for other people.
The voice of the city.
I think if there's anybody who can legitimately be a big influence in town, I think it'd be him. Just because
Flemmy.
Yeah,
what you want for 2020?
And then Kind of Famous. You can listen to that. Spotify.
What up?
iTunes. Go on, Flem. While he opening that up.
Shot, man.
All right, there you go.
Y'all look for Rello album. He dropping Rello Volume 1.
You're dropping an album?
I'm lying.
If I do, the whole press run is finna be Flem.
Anyway, guy. Look out for After Dark 2020, of course. But artists that you need to watch for 2020, for a fact, number one is Jordan Lattimore. You saw Blake this year. Look out for Jordan Lattimore next year. It's going crazy for somebody who does raps, production, plays the guitar, plays multiple instruments. Look out for Jordan Lattimore. Look out for Dizzy. All right, I know y'all like heavy, but Dizzy, as far as stage presence, ability to make a hit, and charisma, like his traction ain't getting a lot because he could just do more to get out there. But Blake Edwards and Make Believe is doing his marketing, and that man. He got it. I think he got it to take it if he do it.
He's got a lock on viral.
Yeah,
viral
a lot of
moments.
viral, but I want him to get viral for his content because his content deserves it. It's good.
Right.
He's actually good. He can perform. Look out for I Go by Mello. Mello is nice with the hooks and ability to be melodic. I think he could definitely use some help with his writing, his lyrics, structuring a song, but the ideas, the production, all of that is there. Look out for Wody. Wody is, I was trying to get...
Wait for that album.
Yeah, waiting on Wody. Wody, I don't know, Wody in personal life, they'd be different. You know, Wody goes ghost, but Wody is dope. Surprisingly, on the street artist side, look out for Mac and Menace, man. I like that dude. Man. Mac and Menace is one of just the young up-and-coming street rappers. Cold. Look out for MM40. Once again, if you like Dizzy, look out for MM40. He's another little up-and-coming street rapper. And my man Hollywood Dre, who just dropped... like this month, last month? No, Black Friday.
Like
he dropped Black Friday. Yeah. Hollywood Dre is just somebody brand new, just started and glued to the city. Glued to the city. He's just a cool dude. Like I like him, his raps and all that is bubbling up, but I like him.
He has that Larry June vibe too.
Yeah, I like him.
With an SE trip.
So look out for them in 2020.
Rello.
All right. I did not make
what was the question again? Who are you looking for, or what are you looking for in 2020?
Does it have to be an artist, or can it just be in general?
What are you looking for in 2020?
In 2020, I'm looking forward to seeing what Bray and Micah have coming towards as far as movies. Look forward to seeing that. Now that Wichita Savage 2 has been dropped, I'm curious to see the direction that Smooth goes.
Is that going to be like a trilogy?
He done.
Has he thought about that?
He done.
That's what
he said he's done.
Out.
What he's doing next is gonna be crazy. Just tell you.
So, looking at that part, looking forward to seeing what Heavy has coming after the fame from Straight Outta Kansas. I want to see what direction he goes, because I believe that if Heavy gets some management behind him, he could be one of the biggest artists in the city. Man. Also looking forward to seeing the direction that Skinny Chip Yadded is going. Yep. Me and him have had a couple of conversations, and I love the growth that I see from him musically, but also he is a man of the people. So he's going to make sure that he does events for the city. So look forward to seeing that. And then I'm really looking forward to seeing, based off of the success of After Dark, seeing what Flem decides to do next, because he's working like crazy. Like, this man is the Puffy of the city. He's Diddy of the city. So definitely got to shout him out on that. Look forward to seeing what becomes of After Dark, and then I know he has a bunch of other ventures. And shout out to the clothing line as well.
Appreciate it.
I want to put something on the record.
And you got to go ahead and tap in, because starting January 4th, Point Proven is going to be on K-Sun Radio. That is January 4th, and your boy Rello, you know what I'm saying? And Realism is going to be, dropping at the top of the year, and Point Proven every Thursday. Point Proven Thursday.
Good job on that.
Real
quick, go.
On the record, I want to see people get away from this idea of labels and these artists get together and be their own kind of group. I want to see AD Coley, Ado, YBM Smooth, Heavy just work under the same function together, because I think together those 4 artists go to the moon. But separate, I don't know how much it's going to continue to work doing this.
So over the weekend, here's my prediction for 2020. And you may have saw it. I think I posted it on Twitter and on Facebook. Starting January 3rd, they're going to start counting YouTube counts in Billboard.
Yeah.
Now,
young boy about to be the new
here's a fun fact about YouTube. YouTube has more music streaming than all the other music streaming services combined.
Yep.
It's going to fundamentally change the Billboard chart as we know.
Why do we care about Billboard charts?
They really finna have NBA YoungBoy looking like Tupac.
At the end of the day, I didn't find Larry June because of Billboard. I think people more locked into the playlists and things that they find versus the numbers. The numbers, I think that's just industry stuff.
But numbers equal money.
This is that. That's what I'm saying. Industry. I think it justifies how they want to spend stuff instance, and the perception that we have of artists. But
the Baby was $10,000. He had a #1 record. He was $100,000.
No, I get it.
Numbers make numbers.
But for us, as the consumer, as the listener.
But also what I'm saying is there's people here who have more YouTube streams than streams on Spotify.
Yeah.
And Tidal.
Yeah.
And
doing
one who comes to mind, I mean, he's not from here. He lived here for a little bit, is Dax. He's in the millions. Yeah. He's that's one of those, and even though the pay rate's a little funky, if you have 50 million views on a video, which he has on some, you break that down, it was what, 1,500? That's a good $25,000. I'm no mathematician, but that's good money.
Or they could just sell a project the old-fashioned way and get the money on the front end and then stream it later.
Which they should do. I'm a proponent on that. But also, like, YouTube that was a power move. It's about to be about video content more than anything. 2020 is about to be about YouTube.
And even
they took over.
And not even just the videos, even just the audio. Like the ones the topic pulls out. Because even when I do, like, I'm from the K playlist, I look at that as well. Like, I watch the views on those go up due to what people are streaming on the playlist. Because in addition to Spotify and Apple and Tidal, I also put that on YouTube. And what I've seen on YouTube has been actually a little bit more significant than maybe Spotify.
And I'll have to send you some business together too.
Well, I'll have to send you some research because we get from record labels a lot. What they're starting to find is as streaming consumption goes up, sales go up. No, sales go up, but that's also physical.
Oh, okay.
Like people buy as the streaming goes up, and then where radio plays its part is as the record gets on radio, the streaming consumption elongates. So you could have, let's say, NBA YoungBoy be a #1 on YouTube for 2 weeks. The Baby could be on there for 2 months. It's all like it's 2020 is going to change the landscape of music, and people are going to never make as much money in the record. Or put it this way, the record labels and the music industry and artists are starting to make money again. It's getting ready to be a cash cow year. People are salivating right now, all over.
And Cash, shout out to you.
Especially in rap and hip hop.
Shout out to
and
you
R&B.
on that as far as MVPs go. Just on that, I'm from the K playlist. For you updating that as consistently as you do and staying consistent with that and adding in new artists when they drop. You can just go to one spot and get caught up on what's going on, like as far as local music goes.
And artists are going to feel their worth now too, because it's very important. Artists, I want you to listen to me. This isn't any hate. If you put out a video, put it out on your YouTube channel.
Yes. Yeah.
Now the numbers matter. Now the numbers matter because there's a lot of people who have thousands.
Those directors out there and everything that's putting it on.
It's getting ready to be a game-changing moment. A game-changing moment. All right, MVP.
I didn't necessarily put them on. They own the year, but I felt like they're the most MVP. Valuable. Yeah, I know, but they're the most valuable.
He's like.
I got it. They're the most valuable, and I think they kind of transcended kind of owning. And I would say Devon Bray, the Bray family, Bray and Sharika. I had them as the ICT MVP for reasons that Flem and Rello and Janae also said. Just as far as what they've been able to do, original piece of work in film. They got snubbed from Tallgrass, so they did their own thing. They went and got
too urban.
You know what I'm saying? Like
that's one of the worst.
So then they went and they did their own thing.
You know that Tallgrass Road. Tell them.
So they went and did their own thing, and they got their own theater to do 2 showings. Yeah, so I got to give it to the Braves for that, and to put the whole city on, not just on the screen, but also on the soundtrack. To be able to do that, like that's a classic case of unity actually working, like because everybody talks about unity, and sometimes I feel like that's a little naive. Yeah. But the way that they put that together, I think that's an example of that working.
Yeah.
And so for that, I got to give him the MVP for that. So
Janae, MVP.
My MVP is going to be Christina Long.
Nice.
Christina Long has the Create campaign. The Create campaign owns Founders Grove.
Does she help you with Flavor in the Mix?
You know what? I reached out to Christina Long and I just like ran up in her office. I had no appointment or nothing. Yeah, it was like, help me, please. I heard you're the GOAT. Please. And she really did. She gave me the blueprint on a lot of things that I needed to do. I think that it's major for us as people, Black people, to know how to own our stuff, for us to know how to start our own business and be able to pass things down to our children and things like that. And to have Founders Grove right there on right there in the hood on 21st and Grove, have it so accessible to the hood there, and to be able to go in there and get knowledge and make some of your dreams a real reality. I think she's the real MVP for the year.
Rowe, MVP. The hat is back to the front.
I know the Ray J joke.
I couldn't decide between two, but I'm gonna go with YBM Smooth for this entire year. But I see that real influence that he has on the Black community. And I see how these artists are really looking up to him in terms of being the guidance of information, of figuring out, like being a rapper who is really promoting family and promoting ownership and business and a lot of things that he promotes in the music and in what he says and how he lives his life. Being that he looks like one of us, looks like someone that comes from those neighborhoods that these people feel hopeless about. So he doing everything he's done over the last couple of years, and especially using WSU as one of these projects that is where he's teaching and continue to teach and continue to be an example. He's an MVP as well as Albert Costello, just because of what I said earlier. So,
Flemmy, MVP.
Where the MVP goes, 2019 belonged to the podcast of the city, and I'm giving my MVP award out to Flavor in the Mix with Candy B and Janae, to Rello and
just Janae
4X, and. But if we talking just 2019, you got to give Candy B her credit for whatever Flavor in the Mix is done. That's a joint effort. So
you can find her on K-Sun, right?
What y'all did, y'all went crazy. To Rello and 4 times just for staying consistent, interviewing who you need to interview, staying on the up and ups, even on interviews that I was like, y'all giving light, but whatever. You know what I mean? And also to my homies, my dogs, what you talking about podcast, that man Jordan Lattimore, Chris Schuyler, and Melody Monroe, a.k.a. Taylor Chapman, what they do. And as far as providing comedy, I tune in weekly. They go crazy. So 2019 definitely belongs to the podcast for being the voice of the city and keeping the whole city updated on everything that's going on in the city. So you don't get to see it, you get the recap, and they provide it. So I'm giving my 2019 MVP to the rise of the podcast.
That's what's up.
That's major.
That's major.
All right, so
Rello, MVP.
I have a tie. Is going between the Bray family with what they did for Pearl 2, selling out 2 shows, the soundtrack, and also the actors that were involved. That's big. You can't like wish that.
Wish that on anybody.
Man, because that's a lot of stress.
Was that what you were about to say?
That's a lot of stress.
That's what he was getting ready to say.
I ain't gonna. That's what I was gonna say, because I'm like, that's a lot of stress, and it takes a strong team to put that together. The co-MVP, I have to give it to Skinny Chip Yaddit. Skinny Chip Yaddit has a candidate for Album of the Year. Skinny Chip Yaddit has given food out to the homeless. Skinny Chip Yaddit had the Chiefs Giving skate party that was very, very dope for the city. And then also he had the backpack back to school drive, which sold out. So, well, not sold out, but they ran out of stuff to give out. So you're giving back to the community. You're also improving greatly on your music. Your business, it has been booming. And also, you're doing great things for everybody out here. So got to give that love on that.
Who's your MVP, Royce?
I really don't have an MVP.
All right, bro.
I'd have to say, look, this city, this is one of the first times in a long time that I've seen people are starting to believe what they're doing.
Yeah.
The infrastructure's there. People are respecting the infrastructure. People are helping out each other in the infrastructure. Now, the one thing I do hope in 2020 is that the infrastructure grows. Because once again, like I say, the culture is a little finite here. But you can feel it, like something's bubbling. You can really feel change happening. I mean, think about this. And this is probably only, I would even say half the people. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people who, well, 3 of them are podcasts. That's probably a quarter of the podcast people. We have a promoter. We have people doing video. I mean, the infrastructure is starting to be there. We've never had that much infrastructure. The artists are there. Now the whole picture is we have a whole lot of producers. Mm-hmm. It's time to build the consumers.
Yeah.
That's it.
Get your beats off.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's for one person. No real MVP other than me.
But as far as but as far as the consumers, yeah, and that's something too that I've been learning with the playlist is to start now. We got to build that base to where like, okay, we want people to be hungry for local music, and so if we can continue doing that with the podcast as well, shining a spotlight on things that are going on locally, then I think it's going to be a good year for 2020.
I agree.
So that's your last thought.
Wrap it up. Be safe out there.
Are you serious? Like, rap in? Like, are you talking about like? Are you talking about like the show or like STD? Like,
listen, y'all, we gotta make it a little fun. No, last thoughts is
fun by wrap it up.
Is that I'm the only one that think that's fun? Okay, forget it. Okay, last thoughts is I want to Flavor in the Mix definitely came in and was stepping on necks. I hate y'all. I heard them. And the city really embraced us. So I want to thank everybody for all their support and holding us down. And
by the way, we might have to do this like maybe in the mid-year.
Yeah, we got
this has been a great convo. As a matter of fact, I'd even almost say this might be the best podcast of the year.
Oh no! And Rello is really competitive.
The episode. This isn't the best episode of any podcast out of Wichita of the year.
Absolutely not.
You're right. This was pretty fun.
No.
I mean, if you're talking. This is the
none of them. Like right now, we're at 2 hours 52 minutes, and it's been nothing but entertainment. Rowe.
Yeah, I mean, I've been getting the kick out of Rowe's facial expressions when he don't want to talk, or when he want to talk.
They gotta see all this shit.
You see him lean back a little bit. Yeah, all right, y'all.
What we do? Final thought. Oh yeah, man. Kind of Famous podcast. Just gonna say that right now. But short of that, man, I want to see artists make money. I want them to start to take this into a place where they make money and stop. I understand. I love streaming because it's easy for me as a consumer. I already subscribe to something. But just throwing this stuff out, you got to figure out how to make some money out of this.
Get a plan.
And none of this really matters to be a living artist. You're just really a free artist right now. So to make that starving artist stuff is a joke. Today where it's easy to get to your customers. So start figuring out how to monetize your brand, make some money off this music, and stop playing with it. It can only be a hobby for so long until you need to say, hey, I need to get a job.
Flemmy, final thoughts.
Man, final thoughts is peace to the city, to everybody on the come up. 2020 After Dark, bigger and better things. Fleming Pepper coming back too. You feel me? I know I'll be on the wings and all that.
Yeah, man.
I got to the fry baby. The fry baby. Peace to everybody. Peace to the family that I rock with. Royce, to you for putting this together. This is dope. 2020, man, the city is on. You know what I'm saying? We making noise. That's it. I'll let you go.
If I gotta wrap it up.
Rello, final thoughts.
All right, so everybody was all hype and stuff. I'm gonna get a little serious. In 2020, I hope that the city of Wichita can kind of get themselves together, that we can put the guns down, and we can come together more in unity. I think I got to shout you out, Royce, for this event that you had 5 individuals from different parts of, this culture, what we do, and you brought us all together to have this discussion. Like, stuff like this needs to happen more. Like, people need to sit down and have more conversations.
Maybe a live show.
Yeah.
And definitely. The city of Wichita also show support. Also show support. You guys always, they love to say that there's nothing to do in Wichita and stuff like that or whatever. Well, we're creating shows. Everybody's creating, a lot of things to do for the city, but also, pay attention to and support. There's a lot of merch out here and everything like that. And on top of that, I'm just going to end it off with Free Albert Wilson.
And since everybody got to plug their stuff, let me go ahead and plug mine real quick. I'm from the K playlist. You can find 34 tracks to represent the 34th state every 3 or 4 weeks, updated on Spotify, Tidal, YouTube, and Apple Music. Also, these are my 5. That's the web series coming back for season 2, 2020 as well. So.
Point Proven Podcast, you know what I'm saying? Every Saturday, 8 p.m., K-Sun 95.9, you know what I'm saying? Starting January 4th. And you can check us out on Spotify, check us out on iTunes, check us out on YouTube, check us out on SoundCloud, you know what I'm saying?
Podcast coming soon. More content coming soon. And just because we're from Wichita doesn't mean we just have to do for Wichita. It's bigger. That's the next goal. We out.
We out.
So, in light of you being kind of famous,
why the hell I'm kind of famous? Who the hell she know?